Well, I think I have the answer now, finally. You see, when you find God in your conscious, waking life, the subconscious says, my goodness, we're going to get out of balance here. So you dream of loss, being lost instead of found. You bring some balance in to keep you in this world. And that is what I've done with this very strange recording I did, which I labelled not for publication. And now I feel I can. It's the dream. It's the one that I recorded that said, resumes were revealing. You see, you give a good resume at the beginning of a talk, and it's usually given by someone else to introduce the speaker, and it basically acclaims them as good and great, worthy of your attention, you see. But of course, it's so easy for it to be so worldly. You know, he graduated from, he was then appointed so-and-so, he was the first person of such a young age to be entrusted with such and such a responsibility in the world. He achieved this, 300 wives and 700 concubines. He was the wisest man that ever walked the earth. He was the richest. I mean, he was the only one who could possibly have been a son to his dad, King David. He fulfilled being the child that is it two that were older than him, Absalom and someone else, I think, that were given the post. It's the same with Henry I, son of William, Duke of Normandy and King of England. That the other two sons played at running the kingdom and were just havoc. Unfortunately, they died, and Henry, amazingly, comes to the throne, a lovely king, and his reign is one of peace and goodness. Do you see this conscious world, the world here, runs on opposites, a balance between good and evil. There's this great mix here. The kingdom of heaven is not like that. The mystics have seen it as ecstatic joy. A Jesus story sees it as the perfect family, which was really in keeping, amazingly, with the Hebrew background that the family was everything. Not the state at all. What they valued was the family, because they were basically a wandering tribal people, of course. to adjust to having a state was a bit constricting, a bit, they were gypsies, in effect. I mean, in character. Nomadic, wanderers, herders. You up and you move, and find better grazing for your flocks. So what mattered to them were the relationships of family, above all else. So the history of their nation has Abraham who so wants the family. He ends up with a family huge to match the stars of heaven. A people. You see that? You see the unfolding of the story. Now this is an aside. What I'm pleased is with why I've written, why I have dictated the resume. Because obviously it's totally tongue-in-cheek. It's to say these resumes are ridiculous. I mean, they make the speaker out to be this wonderful person. And he's got feet of clay, of course. So I thought, well, I should give a resume that's feet of clay. And to try and bring some balance in to say that the speaker is no more worthy than you. He's learnt a little of some things, and perhaps that'll be helpful. And he's tried to marshal them here to bless you, because he wants to. What they should have said was, oh, it's such a blessing. It's been such a blessing to us all. Not that we're to be impressed and overwhelmed with, my goodness, there's so many good and great people in this world, and I'm not. But to know that the good and the great, same as us, mortal, been kids, done all sorts of things we'd rather forget about, really. But by the grace of God, have come to be a member of the host of heaven. Unspeakably wonderful. And we want to hear, don't we, that I can do this too. I don't have to be wonderful and fantastic any more than they were. But by the grace of God, I can be part of the host of heaven. Life eternal. So, coming back to it, I'm going to publish next, following this recording, the one that I wasn't going to publish. It looks very negative, doesn't it? It's the conscious mind being overcome by the subconscious that says, hey, you're still in the world, keep your feet on the ground. You'll become heady. Subconscious is our friend. Make no mistake. is trying to rescue us when it feels we're in unfamiliar territory. It gives us relief. It tries to remind us of what we were used to, that we stably handle the conscious life. And our enemies do this for us all the time. God allows them to have a few shots to remind us ever of what we truly love, which is God's constancy, integrity, loving kindness, abiding fellowship of a most wonderful person. That we value you, Heavenly Dad, and our family in heaven forever, and join with you in loving and caring for your creation, your family of children here, that you're guiding through to the same heavenly glory as we enjoy. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. You do see, hear me, if you're going to stay in this world, you've got to be in harmony, at least temporarily, with this world. This world is light and dark, good and evil. You will make mistakes. You will be accused. And you will suffer to some extent. Else you can't stay in this world, because that's what this world is. It's a classroom. Whilst you are here, you will do what the Romans do. Really? How am I to interpret that statement? So in the story, he gets crucified. He chooses crucifixion to stay with you. But when he leaves, he sanctifies himself. But he's going back to heaven. He's stepping aside that the Holy Spirit take his place. That we may be sanctified. But he matches the wonderful impression that he's given you of heaven with the crucifixion view of being here in the classroom. That the memory of him remain here, probably forever. The suffering servant, isn't it? The one who is persecuted though being a good man. Suffered as part of the balance of experiencing, knowing who he is, child of God. It's yet another illustration, it's more than that, example of the reality that's going on behind the scenes. That yes, you can thank God for the good things in your life, but you should thank Him for the bad things too. For it's all part and parcel of you being here for a while, that you may be there in the kingdom of heaven forever. Oh, really? Thank you, Dad. What do we do then when the Christian, if you like, the seeker of God, jumps the gun and starts thanking and praising Him for the difficulties as well as the obvious blessings? Well, you get an outbreak of miracles. Because you can't keep Him in this world. He's flying above it. Father, I pray that you may be with me where I am. He's already in glory. When He prays this prayer in John 17. And He wants you and I to experience the same. They're in the world, but not of it. They're in the world because I'm sending them into the world to give the same message as I gave. That you're our dad. And that knowing you in this way will give them life eternal too. What a simply wonderful story. I wonder that people don't want to follow it more closely. Thank you, Dad.